Those came in the restricted area. Here's Zion and his first ever back-to-back.
How do you feel right now knowing there's another game for you tomorrow to try to play back-to-back?
Man, I feel fine. We got a great training staff. We do the necessary recovery things, and they'll have me ready for tomorrow.
Is that one of those things you try to push for, or is that something that y'all kind of just came to a mutual agreement on?
A little bit of both, but I push for it myself because I got to do the recovery if I want to be able to perform the way I do every night.
If he seemed down, it's reasonable. They lost a bad game at home last night to a bad Minnesota team. That's Andrew Lopez, who covers the Pelicans for us. He is courtside in Dallas. Andrew, when Zion first came back from the injury, the Pelicans said he was not going to play in back-to-backs. Here he is going on this second night. What changed there?
Well, a couple of things. One, you've seen the way he's performed. He hasn't had any swelling in that knee. He's doing everything that they expected him to do. The other thing that changed was time itself. It's been 6 weeks since Zion's debut. Because of scheduling quirks with the All-Star break, the Pelicans haven't had a back-to-back yet. They did let him play on a Thursday night, and then he played in the Rising Stars game on a Friday, but that was more of a glorified practice the way that game went. But because of the way the schedule broke down, they haven't had any to face. This was the first one. But since he has been playing and performing at the level he has, they're okay with letting him play tonight.
All right, very good. We hope that no one was distracted by Mark Cuban taking jump shots directly over your shoulder there behind you. The game comes your way 9:30 tonight on ESPN. Andrew, thank you very much. We're looking forward to it. Very big game for them. Meanwhile, full court press. Giannis Antetokounmpo coming your way tonight here on ESPN. Here's Giannis as the Bucks prepare to host the Pacers, coming your way next here on ESPN. Take a listen as the reigning MVP tells us how this season's Bucks have responded to being sent packing in the conference finals a year ago.
I don't think anybody was able to enjoy this summer. Everybody on the team were thinking about Toronto, and that could be us.
Now the Raptors have done it by winning 4 straight games.
Being up 2-0 and then losing 4-2, it hurts. This year, everybody has the mindset to get better. Hopefully, we can make that step forward.
The Greek basketball god,
leadership that he's showing has been beautiful.
2 years ago, I was quiet, I wasn't as vocal, I was really serious. As you grow older, you mature, you change, and I feel like my teammates gotta see me having fun.
No way.
It carries over to the see the leader of the team, always smiling and having fun. Everybody on other organizations having fun.
This team approaches the dominance of the 71 NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. Good times for the Bucks, who just keep on rolling.
That's the first game of a really good doubleheader tonight on ESPN. And here is Timmy Legler live on SportsCenter with a court pass for both of these games tonight. Let's start with that one, Pacers and the Bucks. What changes in this matchup with Giannis on the court this time around?
Well, obviously, it's a totally different animal when you're playing the Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think for Indiana, your commitment to getting back defensively, getting bodies in the paint, making sure he plays in a crowd, that's what you always want when you play the Milwaukee Bucks. Right now, the biggest question for the Bucks is what's happened to their three-point shooting as a team, Greeny. This is a team that averages almost 14 makes a night, and they've only made 7 each of the last 2 games when they had their low point total for the season, including that loss to Miami a couple nights ago. So right now, if you're Mike Budenholzer, the biggest thing is, it's great to have Giannis out there for Indiana. Your biggest question is, are we going to start making some shots again and look like the #1 offensive team in the league? Because they certainly haven't been that the last couple of games.
Yeah, so it's a totally different game. Oladipo will not play tonight. He did last time. Giannis will play tonight. He didn't when they met before. So now let's go to the other game tonight. You got Zion and you got Luka. That's our late game tonight, 9:30 Eastern. What impresses you the most so far about what you've seen from Zion?
I think the biggest thing, he has amazed me at his ability to dislodge really big, strong defenders so easily. He's just got an incredible feel for how to get guys off balance by using his shoulders and using his core. His quick first step when he gets the ball and face up off the post is something right now that you can just see post players in the NBA are not used to dealing with that kind of quickness followed by the explosive power at the end of that first step. And he is able to just do what he wants even against much longer bigger defenders at the rim. And it's always been the thing that stood out to me the most about him was his ability to finish and his finesse with the basketball around the rim, and that's obviously come to fruition here as a pro as well.
And then how about Luka?
Well, for me, it's just the way he makes guys better. I mean, Luka Doncic sees things a couple of seconds before anybody else on the floor. I've compared him to Wayne Gretzky with basketball shoes on, and I think that's how he plays. He's just a guy that totally anticipates what you're about to do based on what he does with the basketball and where he puts his eyes. And if you react to it the way you're supposed to, he's going to end up creating offense for somebody. He's got a swagger. He's got a confidence. He's having a lot of fun out there. But overall, it's his ability to make guys better that will keep Luka Doncic in the MVP discussion for a very long time.
Yeah, it's their first meeting tonight. They are a combined 40 years old. Legler, you're the best. Thank you, my man. We will see you. And again, the doubleheader is coming your way tonight. Pelicans, Mavs is the late game, but coming up in just a matter of moments, we will see that for some of the big matchups. 9:30 Eastern. You'll see it on ESPN. Zion versus Luka. First meeting between the two of them in their young careers. The two young stars among the 5 players in NBA history to average 20 points as a teenager. We'll have that one for you on ESPN. Elsewhere, Ja Morant and the Grizzlies will visit the Nets. That's at 7:30 Eastern. Memphis has a 3-game lead for the final playoff spot out west. The Nets guard Karis LeVert is coming off his first career 50-point game. Then 7 Eastern right here on ESPN following SportsCenter. Bucks, Pacers. Milwaukee coming off a loss to the Heat, the only team to beat them twice this year. Pacers, meanwhile, won last month's meeting against the Bucks by 7, but tonight they'll be without Victor Oladipo, who is nursing a sore knee. Entering the game, the Bucks currently have a 25% chance to win at least 70 games this year, according to our analytics, the Basketball Power Index. They're seeking to become just the 3rd team ever to win at least 70 games. So let's take a closer look at that one. Chauncey Billups will join us here live ahead of the Pacers and the Bucks tonight. And we just mentioned Victor Oladipo out with the knee. Giannis will be playing. So that's exactly the opposite situation from when these teams played last month in Indiana won. What can the Pacers do tonight to try and beat Milwaukee again?
Well, Greeny, first and foremost, it's going to be a tall order. I mean, you're talking about the Bucks. They've struggled the last few games. They'll be very motivated. But if you're the Pacers, you got to take a look at the Heat's game plan against this Bucks team. Was very tough. I mean, they just loaded up in transition a ton on Giannis, forcing other guys to try to make plays. And to beat the Bucks, I don't care who you are, you have to have a huge night from the three-point line, in my opinion.
Bucks have not lost back-to-back games all year. That loss against Miami did open up a lot of eyes, but it was their 3rd game in 4 nights. Let's go to the 2nd game of our doubleheader tonight, Chauncey. Zion against Luka. So that's obviously a lot of star power there. It's the first meeting between these two. What do you want to see from Zion in his first ever 2nd game of back-to-back?
Listen, first and foremost, I just want to see Zion. I just love seeing him on the floor. He's box office. He's balling. I expect him to just continue to keep getting better, keep staying patient, keep playing good team basketball. He plays the right way, Greeny, and he shares the basketball. He's explosive. We know that the skill set that he has. I mean, I just want to see him continue applying pressure to the NBA.
Yeah, and then we're going to see Luka dealing with a sprained thumb. He went just 1 of 8 from 3 in a loss on Monday against the Bulls. It's a remarkable. What do you want to see from Luka tonight, and how significant do you think this matchup is for these two young players whose combined age is 40 years old?
Well, first and foremost, these two dudes will be the future of the NBA. When the LeBrons and the KDs end up hanging up their shoes, it will be these two young guys that will be leading the charge and continuing to be great. Tonight, Luka, it's a big game. You know, they're still fighting for playoff positioning, still trying to, you know, establish themselves as a very tough team. And it's all about Luka and what he's able to do. I'm sure he'll be special and probably get a triple-double, as usual.
Yeah, and it's a huge night for the Pelicans, who fell 4.
Jeannie said last night that looking back at the season so far, that Anthony's been even better than she could have imagined. I don't know, how can you assess what it's been like to play 60 games with them so far versus what your expectations were?
It's everything I expected and more. That's why, that's why I wanted him here. And when you get a generational talent like that and you have an opportunity to get him, just try to do whatever you can to try to get him. It's no surprise to me. I already knew how incredible the guy is. He had 50 in All-Star game.
That was Dave McMenamin asking the questions. This is Brian Windhorst answering these. And Wendy, you've known LeBron forever, and right now on ESPN.com you have an article About the way that LeBron has approached this season with the Lakers differently, what stands out for you about this version of LeBron?
Just about everything. At age 35, he's completely inverse so many of the things that he didn't like to do in the past. Number one, he's playing full-time point guard. This is something that he was totally against when he came out of Cleveland to come to L.A. He's willing to do that. At times this year, he has been completely supportive of management. This is a guy who at midseason, even when he's on championship teams, has said, we need to get better, and I hope the organization is not settling. This year, he says, we have enough. He has completely supported Frank Vogel in his first year as coach, and he has a long history, Greeny, of not supporting coaches in their first year, whether it was Mike Krzyzewski with Team USA, Eric Spoelstra, certainly Luke Walton, David Blatt. He's always been a rocky start. He's been supportive of Frank Vogel since the start, and it's really led to a very peaceful, very successful regular season for the Lakers.
Yeah, and they're playing great. They have the best record in the West. But looking ahead, we're going to find out a lot about them now. Because while their record is second best overall in the league, over the course of the next 7 games, they've got extremely tough competition. And you see it sitting there. They got the Bucks. They got the Clippers. That's just this week. They got the Rockets, Nuggets. They play the Jazz twice. So what do you believe, Wendy, we will learn about these Lakers during this stretch?
Boy, do I think that game on Sunday against the Clippers is the most important one of those. Because, look, they lost to the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard last summer. They lost on opening night. They lost on Christmas Day. They lost on Marcus Morris. They lost on Reggie Jackson. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they have to do anything in the regular season, that winning in the playoffs 4 times is all that matters. But boy, would it be nice to put up a W against the Clippers. Also, the Clippers' full squad has yet to lose. And if the Lakers could come in against that full squad and deal them their first loss, that would be potentially valuable from a psychological standpoint. Sunday's game is one of the most exciting games I've been looking forward to all season.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day, no question. Looking forward to it, Wendy.